Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
We are back with Craig Brown, Director and CEO of ECR Minerals, which is a mineral exploration and development company focused on gold projects in Australia. Hi Craig, how are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me on this afternoon.
That's not a problem at all. So, ECR Minerals said it's currently in commercial discussions with third parties about its Creswick project in Victoria. Do you think you can give us an update, or are you allowed to give us an update on how these talks are progressing?
I can't really give you much of an update, but realistically, there's been one group who's been really wanting to do something with us. There's been a few bigger boys who've been interested in doing something with us, but because of COVID and everything else, things have been delayed, and the offers which they were discussing more at the beginning of last year certainly wouldn't be appealing, or in the first half of last year certainly wouldn't be appealing to us now. We've gone back in, we've started drilling on all of these projects, so our expectations have certainly improved a lot, and we've got some good results coming through, and so certainly if anyone wants to do a deal with us, it'd be a lot more favourable terms than we ever did before. So realistically, we think we want to develop these projects ourselves to a lot higher stage because we now have so much more cash in the bank. So we can develop these ourselves, and we don't necessarily need to have a JV partner. And then if we do bring a JV partner, it'll be on much better terms for ECR.
Okay, thanks. We'll get to the cash in the bank question a bit later on. But before that, your first hole has been described as an aggressive drilling program in Creswick. Last week revealed a 1 metre intercept at a grade of 9.68 grams per tonne, plus other gold anomalies. You guys must be happy with the current drilling program so far?
Yes, very happy. I mean, I think we're on the 8th hole at Creswick, and that's drilling it with drilling contractors. And on the Baillieston license, I think we're on hole number 11. So we've put out the first 8 results for the first 8 holes at Baillieston, 3 to go there. And at Creswick, we've only put out the first hole. But one of the things which we find is that there's quite a delay from when you get the results back from the lab, and all our assays are divided into two sections. Firstly, we have a leach well test, and after we've got the results of the leach well, then we put the results through fire assay, so the tails of the leach well. So we leach everything with cyanide, and we work out how much gold was in the quantity which was leached. Then we fire assay the tails. So there's 2 parts to the assay. So not all you'll get a gold grade from the first part, and you'll get a gold grade from the second. So you've got to add those 2 together to get the total grade. Now the first process is normally done within 2 weeks, but the second part can take up to another 2 weeks. And then once we've got all the data back, our geologists need to interpret it and understand it and map it and geologically model it, so before we can report the results. And then the final stage of it is of course, we've got to have the announcement produced and across to our nomads. So we have got a bit of a lag from when the assays are shipped off to the laboratory until we actually get the results back. And we do a lot of the internal work, all the logging ourselves. I mean, we're logging core. We've got a team of 4 geologists in our core shed. Dr. Rodney Bouch is our chief geologist. Adam Jones is our, I suppose, technical geologist. He's also a director on the board of both ECR and Mercator Gold Australia. And then we have 2 other project geologists, Christy, who was formerly with Kirkland Lake Gold in Canada, and Ansar, who comes from actually a coal background, but he's picked it up very quickly, and he started off doing soil samples for us. Now he's gone to the core shed, and he's learned how to log core, and he can go out and mark up our holes as to where we need to drill. And so the main guys, Rod and Adam, don't actually have to go out there in the field and inspect what's going on. We've got Ansar out there to mark the holes and to check on things how are going. So it's quite good when you're training people up through the organisation, and the skills are developing. But we have 4 geologists, and as well as about another 4 staff who are just working in the core shed all the time with the logging of the core. And then we've got our own rig, so we normally have at least 2 to 3 people on that rig, a driller and an offsider, sometimes 2 offsiders, because you need an extra person to be trained up in case people leave or whatever. And so we do certainly have a lot of staff going. But as I say, I think we're on the 11th hole at Baillieston. We've only reported the first 8. We're on Creswick. We've only reported 1 hole, and I think we're on our 7th hole now at Creswick, 7th or 8th.
Okay, great. I mean, lots going on. It's not just that. With the ongoing pace and volume of core and data recovered, along with the license applications in North Queensland, plus half-year statements they're showing for 2021 that it's been quite a productive year. So what are your thoughts on it so far?
I think things are really great. I mean, if you look at our financial statements alone, our balance sheet is certainly a lot more solid than it was before. We had, like I say, 5.25 million, approximately at the end of the period. But we've been really going out and spending a lot of money actually by purchasing our own drill rig and actually getting the job done. And the difference which we have with owning our own drill rig compared to using contractors is that we can control the way in which the hole's drilled. If you bring in contractors, they just want to go for speed, and if you pay them to drill 2,000 meters, they'll do it as fast as they can, but they won't necessarily recover all the core. And it's very hard to enforce that they recover all the core. Whereas our guys, we can tell them we'd prefer to drill 3 meters a day and get a great result than 50 meters a day and only recover half the core, because you're missing half the results. And most of the time, the gold is contained in all these fractures and anticlines, and that when you've got an ugly type gold effect, if you're not getting full recovery, that's where you'll lose your gold. There's been many times whereby one company's drilled out a project and said it was no good. Another company's gone out and drilled it properly and carefully, and they've got a much better recovery. Having said that, we average about 20 meters a day with our own rig, and the contractors have been doing anywhere up to 40 meters a day. We've been getting up to 30, 40 odd meters a day, but not consistently.
Well, let's talk about the cash sheet then, as you've mentioned it. At the end of March, you had cash of just under 4 million. Since then, there was more funding that was raised, and it's taken you to that position you just mentioned of 5.25 million towards the end of June. So the obvious question investors are going to ask is, will there be any more dilution in the foreseeable future?
Well, we have enough money in the bank to develop the projects ourselves to value inflection point. We're not under pressure to do any JV or anything because we've got so much cash. And I mean, at our current burn rates, we're spending about 300,000 Australian per month at the moment. But considering we've got 5.2 million pounds, I mean, we have more than sufficient cash to cover us for, at least a couple of years out. So we don't need any money at the moment. And, unless we took on something big and new, but we certainly don't have any plans to do anything else right at this point in time. So we're not going to be diluting. You can guarantee that there won't be any more fundraisers this year, certainly.
I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that. Craig, it's been great catching up with you, and I look forward to your next update.
Okay, great. That's fantastic. Thanks for having me, Rob.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.